Hello friends of Barça, today we're going with a potential starting 11 from Hansi Flick for this season. With a Barça that hopefully wins the Champions League, La Liga, and everything else that comes their way. Give it a like, because I'm bringing you the amazing team that Barça will have to compete for everything this season. Let's get to the video without further delay. Well, family, on the screen you have what seems to be the starting 11 for Football Club Barcelona for next season. For now, on the screen, what you're seeing is the possible starting lineup for Barça without the additions that I believe, given the recent rumors, the reasons for their potential arrival are unclear. Because I'm about to tell you which players are being rumored to join Barcelona in the coming weeks. Currently, we have either a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1 formation with the goalkeeper in position. The first signing of the season for Hansi Flick's team. There is the Catalan goalkeeper Jong Garcia, who at first seems like he will be the undisputed starter for the season. Jong Garcia comes from Espanyol. Barça had to pay his release clause, and everything seems to indicate that this goalkeeper will be the one in charge of defending the goal as the starter in La Liga, and most likely also in the Champions League for Football Club Barcelona. Let's see what happens with the team, because for now, it doesn't seem like there will be any kind of revolution in the defensive line. The usual starting lineup in defense would be Koundé on the right, Cubarsí, Íñigo Martínez, and Alejandro Valde. Obviously, there could be rotations here. White, Hector Ford, Gerard Martin, Araujo, and Christensen are expected to remain in their positions. In addition to Eric Garcia, who could also fit into this great defense that Barça has. Now, at the end of the video, don't leave, because when the video ends, I'm going to tell you which players are being talked about today. Because there are two players who could come to Barça and who, in fact, are being talked about more than ever today. Stay until the end of the video for the reveal. Let's move on to the midfield now, because this is where I think we have more quality players and also an amazing bench. You already know that for now, what Flick has done in the previous season is rely on these three men. Three men who are three key pieces in the midfield of this Barça, which is a steamroller. Let's start with Pedri, the player from the Canary Islands, who I think took a step forward last season. Physically, Pedri recovered and has gained muscle and has developed a physique that has allowed him to avoid injuries if he maintains consistency. That has made Pedri the leader of this Football Club Barcelona. For me, Pedri has to be in the top 5 for the Ballon d'Or. And this year, hopefully, fingers crossed, may luck continue to be with him, may he not get injured, and may he keep being a key part of Barca's midfield. A key player who has an ideal partner by his side, a man who has been his right-hand man, the one who has helped him a lot, also in defensive areas. Although we have to say that Pedri was the player with the most recoveries in the league, and that's an impressive feat. That's an incredible stat. The guy who recovers the most in the league, impressive, Pedri. The other man we're referring to is Frenkie de Jong, who people were discussing this morning on Twitch. What a summer we're having, where nobody has talked about Frenkie de Jong yet. That's good news and a reason to be happy, considering the summer we've had. With contract renewals, sales, and departures. And Frenkie has managed to establish himself and also become a key piece in Barca's midfield. But be careful, because this year, besides Marc Casado, besides Gavi, besides Fermin and others who are there fighting in the midfield, Marc Bernal, who is at an impressive level, is back. For me, he's a Barcelona signing. Marc Bernal after his serious knee injury, and Frenkie will fight for that spot. With the Catalan player, Marc Bernal. So we have an amazing midfield with Pedri, Frenkie Casado, and Marc Bernal. Also Gavi's spot, which we'll see later with that bench. And Fermin's, which is more oriented toward the more advanced attacking midfield position. An attacking midfield position where it seems that Mr. Dani Olmo is the favorite. A sensational player. So in that sense, I would say Dani Olmo. The one from Terrassa did have a lot of muscle problems last season. I think what Dani Olmo is missing is to consolidate and find consistency to avoid injuries and to feel much more comfortable on the field. because he missed a lot of minutes, he missed a lot of matches, and Dani Olmo is decisive in the final third of the field. For me, I think he's the man with the best oriented control in the world, one of the best at it. When he turns, he already faces forward looking for the goal, and he's an absolute machine. Dani Olmo and Fermin are going to compete for that attacking midfield position as well, and why not with a Rafinha who could also play that more central role at some point. Now let's move on to the forward line, to that starting trio of Barça, which has Lamine Yamal on the right, Rafinha on the left, and Robert Lewandowski as the center forward. What a trio, Lamine Yamal. This year, with that number 10 on his back, he's surely going to lead the team again, and let's hope he keeps improving because he just turned 18. Lamine has a ceiling that's scary, and I don't know how far this kid will go, but it's impressive what Lamine can bring to this team. This year, they'll likely score more goals and provide more assists, which is amazing. On the other side, Rafinha, who's coming to have the prime season of his life. I mean, a historic season for Rafinha, with a lot of goals, with a lot of assists. Will he be able to maintain the level? I believe and trust that he will. Lewandowski, despite his age, scored over 40 goals up front. He's expected to improve further this year. I don't know why, but watching the training footage, I see Barça like a jet this preseason. And I hope Robert is sharp too and scores a lot of goals. Prepare yourself for the final moment approaches. We've reached the final moment of the video. And here I'm going to tell you the two player names that are being talked about the most for Barça today. And they are the following. Attention, we're talking about Marcus Rashford and Denzel Dumfries. Marcus Rashford, the English player who, according to Mateo Moreto, is once again a very, very hot prospect to join Barça. And Marca had on its front page this morning that Marcus Rashford chooses Barça. We'll see if Barça picks him too. Because he's a player who can play in all three attacking positions, on the left, on the right, or as a center forward. He would arrive at a good price initially on loan with an option to buy, according to the rumors. But I'm telling you, I really like the Marcus Rashford card a lot. Another card that's also being talked about is Denzel Dumfries, the Inter Milan player who could also arrive. Let's remember there was a meeting with Jorge Mendes, and Dumfries is represented by Mendes. A guy who is physically like a bull and who could play on the right and on the left and also a bit further up the field. He's a wingback with range and physically a physical powerhouse. I would love to have Dumfries, so we'll see if the Dutchman finally comes or not. The team's core is great, with players like Chesney Araujo, Gerard Martin, Eric Garcia, Fermin, and Dumfries. It would be incredible. Casado, Bernal Kryptonson, Ferran Torres, Bargi. The kid also seems like he's staying. Gabi. And Cuba? Yes, it's repeated, but we'll ignore that. Family? I think Barca's going to have a great squad, and I hope the deal with Rashford and Dumfries gets completed. And I think there would be two top-level reinforcements that would raise the level of the squad, and I think physically they would also give us a couple more points. Hopefully the transfers get finalized and we'll share the news on Barça today. What do you think about the team and which player would you sign? Like and subscribe. Barça yesterday, today, and always.